Happy Wednesday, everybody. This week we're going to be showcasing Orzhov Midrange. And I want to explore the space because I think that it's looking particularly appealing for post-rotation. So this list will be losing the March of Otherworldly Light, but it's not a necessary removal by any means. I do think there are alternatives that we could explore as well. But what's appealing to Orzhov midrange is that, similar to Esper midrange, it has the ability to really switch its tempo up depending on what matchup you're against. So you can kind of switch into more of a controlling space, and you can kind of switch it into more of a tempo aggro space. And so this is a little bit of an exploration, right? So this is definitely not going to be the end all be all best version of Orzhov midrange. But it's got some interesting things going on for it, right? So March of the Otherworldly Light, like I mentioned, is going to rotate, but it's particularly good against Boros Convoke. Being able to hit their token that they're trying to target with Gleeful Demolition is a nice response. And you can also hit manlands, since the manlands you can do X equals 0 to get rid of a manland. Comes in handy. Doorkeeper Thrall is one that is kind of dependent on how many creatures have entered the battlefield effects. It's really good against Boros Convoke because it silences the Knight Errant of Eos and the Imodane's Recruiter, and I've been bumping into more Boros Convoke this week. Case of the Stash Skeletons and Corpses of the Lost kind of has that Skeletons synergy together that we see in the mono black Skeletons build, but we're not running the Forsaken Miner and we're not running the Cult Conscripts, so less Skeleton synergies overall. But if they do answer the 2/1 Menace, then we get to tutor for one of our more expensive cards. Then we're running Go for the Throat and Long Goodbye and Sheoldred's Edict. These are all really good point interaction to affect our opponent. And we've got the Hunted Bone Brute, which we saw in Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Thought this one was worth exploring. You can play it down as a disguised creature and then flip it up for 1 and a black. And it's a 6/2 menace that when it dies, each opponent loses 3 life. So if you connect with this, you can deal 9 damage. And if you play it outright for 2 and a black, then your opponent gets 2 1/1 dog creature tokens, which can block the Hunted Bone Brute particularly well. So really, you're going to want to play this out on 3 and then flip it up for 1 and a black later. As far as, we've got Liliana the Veil, 2 copies to basically for Golgari midrange and Azorius Control is where I really like this card. Being able to attack your opponent's hand comes in handy in against the control matchups. Path of Peril, being able to wipe the board, destroy all creatures, is kind of the answer for Boros Convoke as well. Phyrexian Arena gives us a little bit of that kind of like welcome to Kashia. It helps us outvalue other midrange decks at the cost of life. Treacherous Greed, I thought, was an interesting one to explore. You can sacrifice a creature that dealt damage this turn, and then you draw 3 cards, each opponent loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life. And I think this one naturally synergizes with the Case of the Stash Skeleton, since you can sacrifice your suspected skeleton, and then next turn be able to sacrifice the solved case to tutor for whatever card you'd like. And, you know, sacking that 2/1 skeleton to draw 3 cards, gain 3 life, and damage them for 3, I think there's room to explore with this Treacherous Greed. We've got 2 copies of Sheoldred the Apocalypse, just your classic threat here, gaining a... Oh, my power just went kaboom. Sorry. I think everything's still recording and okay, but I just had a little bit of a power surge there. Okay, there's a little bit of a storm going on right now. So Sheoldred the Apocalypse, gaining life every time that you draw a card, can help stabilize against mono red. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm gonna have to pause this real quick until we come back online. Okay, that was fun. We're all back and ready to go. Sorry about that. All right, so the Wandering Emperor, classic. This is kind of what I was talking about. And if you look at like best of 3, we're seeing a lot more of Orzhov midrange, exploring a very Planeswalker heavy build where we've got like Liliana and we've got Sorin and the Wandering Emperor. I think this is also one to keep in mind is going to be rotating out in August. But for right now, Wandering Emperor is amazing. A lot of times you can do like 2 things of removal. So do keep that in mind. You don't always have to exile their attacking creature that's tapped. You can create a 2/2 Samurai token trade with something with 2 toughness and then exile their tapped creature on your turn if you really need to remove 2 threats. I think that's something that some beginners mess up sometimes. Otherwise, your typical thing is like you exile something and then you create a 2/2 token. Sometimes you give something +1/+1 in first strike because you don't want to lose the planeswalker and you get greedier than you should. But yeah, most often there's just so much utility and so much value coming from the Wandering Emperor, you got to include it. Akalazon's Deepest Betrayal is a nice one of. We've seen this very commonly in best of 3 as a top end stabilizer against the aggro and mid-range threats. If it doesn't get exiled, it's a recurring threat and can be very difficult for some builds to get rid of. And then we've got 1 copy of the Vein Ripper, and last week I was exploring the mono black mid-range deck that was running Gisa and 2 Vein Rippers, and I feel like 1 we can kind of get away with. I think a lot of times it's still going to be a dead card in hand, but I think this one has a little bit better card draw than the previous deck to get into the later curve. So I think 1 Vein Ripper here could work quite well. Despite having the low creature count, we will have stuff off of the Wandering Emperor, as well as the Case of the Stash Skeleton and the Corpses of the Lost. And then 1 copy of Farewell, kind of giving us the ultimate reset button if we if we need it. Nice option to have. Could also work as a Sunfall or maybe even a Depopulate. So this was a list that I grabbed offline or online, and I do not remember the name of the creator, so I apologize. But it was a list that had hit Mythic. It just didn't have the requirements for my meta breakers on Sunday, and but there, these are just alternatives that the person was exploring. So we've got Requisition Raid. This one I know is particularly handy against Boros Convoke. It's the one that's running the most enchantments at the moment. Duress is a classic sideboard option against Azorius Control. Destroy Evil is one that used to be kind of the classic anti-Esper midrange option, and then could also work reasonably well against Boros Convoke. And then we've got 1 copy of Unlicensed Hearse, which could be good if you come up against a lot of the Legends decks, which you don't see very often in Best of 1, as well as the Temur Landfall deck. And then 1 Path of Peril, which honestly, the Farewell could be a Path of Peril. Just 3 copies of Path of Peril would also help improve the Boros Convoke matchup. So with that, I'm going to show you my favorite matches and can just see how it does. So enjoy. All right, opponent is going first. We've got the Case of the Stash Skeleton into Hunted Bone Brute. We've got removal with March of Otherworldly Light and a Wandering Emperor. We've got a tap land, Demolition Field, and then our untapped land. So we're probably going. We can run out the Forlorn Flats on turn 1, and then Concealed Courtyard on turn 2 for the Case, and then Demolition Field for Hunted Bone Brute. And we've got a black-white. Okay, mirror match. Here we go. Let's see if this is also an Orzhov mid-range match, or if this is something else. We got another tap land. We're gonna have to figure out when we want to play those tap lands. We could do the Doorkeeper Thrall, which would prevent some of their ETB effects, and it might be better than the Case of the Stashed Skeleton. That one is tricky. I'm trying to remember if we are playing it up against the Nurturing Pixie deck. I think the Doorkeeper Thrall would be good to have. We could hold this up and flash it in. I think I'm going to go for the Case of the Stashed Skeleton into the Hunted Bone Brute and play it more aggressively, which could definitely be the wrong choice. And we can do Doorkeeper Thrall and then March of Otherworldly Light. Alright, so will they remove our disguised creature? Probably. Don't have to worry about a Wandering Emperor yet. We won't be able to do the Wandering Emperor on 4 unless we draw an untapped source. Nice thing here is that if they have a Sheoldred's Edict, we get to sacrifice our skeleton token. Okay, so this is going to be like an Orzhov control matchup. And this will solve at the end of my turn. Won't be solved this turn. So we're going to play one of our tap lands, Surveil, get rid of the extra land, I think. Do we want land 5? I don't think so. Alright, 5 lands next turn. So we can just hold up the Doorkeeper Thrall and the March of Otherworldly Light. And then I guess next turn we could have done a 3-drop and gotten this. So artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. This is an enchantment. It's still going to trigger. I think I'm going to discard the land. So this does look like the Nurturing Pixie deck, I think. Some version of it. All 4 concealed courtyards. Okay. So I think I'm going to bring out the Doorkeeper Thrall now. And just plan on playing Shieldred the Apocalypse. Okay, Flanker. Interesting. Let's see, was this deck running Liliana? This is the sort of matchup where Liliana would be nice. I'll hold this in case they make me discard. I think I will. Just play out Shieldred here. I guess if I get up to high enough, if I get up to 6 lands, then I could crack the case and still have the Wandering Emperor up, so could play the Concealed Courtyard. But if they play Hostile Investigator, then I'm not going to want to have played out the land. Rite of Oblivion. Alright. This looks very similar to the Orzhov Discord. Alright, so now we can make them discard. If I had 5, I could pop this. Could Wandering Emperor and just exile the Flanker? They're almost out of threats. Demolition Field. Nothing particularly good to get rid of there. So I think I'm just going to go with Liliana of the Veil and make them discard a card. And then... how do I need to hold back the 1/2 to protect Lily. And I can hold up March of Otherworldly Light.
You're telling me what you know about the Drop It?
They haven't been holding on to land, so dang. I was hopeful that we were going to be able to get them there. So I guess I'm going to try to protect Lily with the 1/2. I can use the March, but it's not great. Because I'd have to discard the Wandering Emperor. Oh, and I couldn't even pay for it if I needed to do that, so hopefully no removal for Doorkeeper Thrall. Nice. Okay. Do I want Wandering Emperor or do I want March of Otherworldly Light? I feel like Wandering Emperor is better. So let's make them discard their last card. And it's a Shieldred's Edict. Each opponent sacrifices a Planeswalker. I could bring in the Wandering Emperor. Could just also I could just let it go. Because then they're on a top deck and we have Shieldred the Apocalypse. They can do this, though, flashback and sack the Flanker. No, that's not great. Okay, well. Now I'm just making myself discard. That was pretty bad. That's not great. All right, so now no longer going to be trying to block with the Thrall, and let's see if they decide to do the Rite of Oblivion on Shieldred. Well, now they certainly do. Could have kept the Thrall back to affect the Flanker. Good news is they don't have much of a board presence here, and we can use the case to go get whatever we want. So we have to activate that as a sorcery. We do have enough to hold up the Long Goodbye. And we still don't have any man lands. So if they just play the Virtue of Loyalty, anticipating to pump the flanker, I think we're in an okay spot. So what do we want to go get? Hunted Bone Brute could be a lot of pressure on our opponent. Acklezotz, but we don't have 5 mana. I think I'm going to go get the Hunted Bone Brute. I could also just get another Wandering Emperor. Oh, there's a synergy I didn't notice. Creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. I can play the Bone Brute without disguising it. Unless they have instant speed removal and kill the Thrall. Okay, we're going to do this now. All right, virtue of loyalty with nothing on board. I still think I'm gonna disguise this. It's less mana efficient, but if they have instant speed removal to kill the Thrall, and then they get 1/1s that get pumped every turn, I feel like that's a way I could lose this game. So in this situation, I'm gonna go for the ward. I'm gonna attack first, though. It doesn't look like there's a pause, so technically I could just play out the Hunted Bone Brute. Still gonna hold the Concealed Courtyard, because I'm guessing they're playing more discard. I'd like to protect the Wandering Emperor. Damn it. Okay. Okay, there's the wedding announcement. Oh boy. They should have reordered the... They should have done that in a different order there. They probably attack with the 1/1, and then we can eat it. Yeah. Okay, I could just exile it.
That's coming on.
Because it will untap if they have removal here. See if Wandering Emperor can pull me back from the edge. Okay. So I think I offer the trade on the 2/2. Create another one, play the Hunted Bone Brute out, and then no longer have a hand. Okay.
Let your blade do the talking.
All right. Not sorcery speed to flip, so we can flip at end of their turn. Now if they use removal on the face down card, we can hit them for 3. Another Rite of Oblivion. Okay, so they're gonna exile my Planeswalker. That seems good.
Back to wandering.
Now, that's a little bit of a problem, because if they exile the Hunted Bone Brute, we don't actually just win. There, they organized it the right way this time around. Okay, well, I think the Hunted Bone Brutes are going to carry us across the line here. I could put them to 1, but I lose a 2/2 for it. I think I'll just attack with the Bone Brute and play out another one. right. It's looking okay. So they have to write Oblivion. They have to exile the Bone Brute. That makes sense. Surprised they did the wedding announcement there. Can't attack. We could have another exile effect, and then they're at 1. Release the Bone Brutes. Hey! And we have March of Otherworldly Light. So then this means they're dead even if they have an answer for Hunted Bone Brute. Oh gosh, they could have a Wandering Emperor and exile the Bone Brute and go to 1. Okay, Kutsul's Flanker doesn't do it though, right? That gains 2 life, they can't block the Menace. Alright, I think we won our first quasi-mirror match. Alright, so we've got a tap land, we've got 2 tap lands. Got a Vein Ripper that won't be played for a while, but we have a Doorkeeper Thrall, Removal, and Phyrexian Arena. So we can play this on 2, we can play this on 4. So it's going to be in this order if we keep it, and we have to hit lands. I don't know, let's test out how the Phyrexian Arena goes. Okay, looks like we're up against Boros Convoke, which this deck has a couple of tools against. We have no turn 1, so perfect time for tap land. And I think we do want to just keep hitting our lands with this hand. Because now we have enough to play turn 2, turn 3, and then the tap land. So that would give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 towards Vein Ripper. I'm not sure Vein Ripper's really good in this hand anyway. I think we have enough that I'm okay with keeping the land. And then we can flash this in. We can play here for the Phyrexian Arena. We can keep Go for the Throat for Imidane's Recruiter. And we definitely need to hit a board wipe though, so maybe I should have buried the land. Oh yeah. Well, they hit the... Knight Errant of Eos on 2 is difficult to beat. Especially into Imidane's Recruiter on 3. That's too bad, because if we could have... we at least get to silence the Imidane's Recruiter. But, we needed this to be... We needed to be on the play. So... Let's see if they're stuck on land 2. Kind of hope they aren't, so that they just slam the Imidane's Recruiter, right? We're still going to get hit for a ton of damage. And we still need to dig into a board wipe. So this is where the 3 copies of the Path of Peril is... I would like to see it probably more than the Farewell. Just because, again, you don't usually have that much time in, you know, turn 2 Knight Errant of Eos, turn 3 Imidane's Recruiter is a rough curve out. So... Let's see, do I need to do removal this turn or go for double removal next turn? I think I'm just dead either way, so I'm gonna try to dig to a board wipe and chump block with the Thrall and agree to take what, 8 damage and go to 6. 7 with Phyrexian Arena. So if they play another Imidane's Recruiter, this blocks it until it's dead, right? Oh, they got a Case of the Gateway Express? Veteran. The good news is if we do hit a Wrath, they are playing right into it. Playing out their whole hand. Alright. Okay, so that allows me to, that's 2 less damage. Notably, Vein Ripper gets one mark for being a dead card. Now we could just take the 10, but since I have to Wrath the board anyway, I think I just block the damage. We're dead if I don't hit a Wrath, right? So I think it's fine to just block here. No Path of Peril. GG. That's a cool interaction I haven't thought of in a while, right? Phyrexian Arena draws a card and loses life, but if you have Shieldred in play, then it offsets. So there's some cool synergies in this deck. Not much we can do here, though. So let's just kill 2 things and then leave. GG. Alright, opponent's going first. We have tap land into Thrall on 2. Removal until we hit a double black for Shieldred. And then we've got Farewell if we make it to 6. Curious to see how often the 6-cost cards just feel like dead cards in the opening hand. Looks like we're up against Azorius Control. And the Duelist of the Mind means we're up against Esper Midrange. Okay, so do we go for the throat on Duelist of the Mind? I don't think so. I think I'll flash in the Doorkeeper Thrall. Are there any interesting ETBs in Esper Midrange? Most of them are like triggered like Raffine. I don't think there's a lot of ETBs. But in this situation, I'm going to try to flash in the Thrall. Might even do it end of turn. And then play the Bone Brute outright. Depends on if they keep up all of their mana here. I could flash in the Thrall and try to block the Duelist of the Mind. Doesn't feel like a great idea though, because if it can commit a crime, then it just dies. Oh joy. Okay, so they're gonna just counterspell this, potentially. Maybe they let it resolve because it doesn't do anything against the 1/3 vigilance. Flanker. Alright. Don't know why they did that now. Oh, because it's an ETB. Duh. There's the answer. Flanker. Okay. So now we can play the Bone Brute outright. Which is cool. I like that synergy. Now we really could use a land. I think I'm okay with racing them here. I don't think I block. I guess I could block this for free, but it seems a little broadcast. And then I could trade here. That seems a little bit better. 4 mana, they could have Wandering Emperor to give something +1/+0 for strike. If they have that, they're going to exile the Bone Brute. Since we didn't hit into our top end here, I think I'm going to play the Bone Brute out while we have the Doorkeeper Thrall. Maybe I'm supposed to attack first and see if the Doorkeeper Thrall is alive. So again, if they have like get lost or something like that, then they get 2 humans out of it, and that's not great. So let's see what they do here. See if we can get them to play their mana first. Huh, okay. No dice there. I could purposely disguise this one, but being stuck on mana makes me feel like I'm just gonna go for it. Let's see how punished I get. Alright, that's fine. If we did hit into lands, we have some stabilizing force against their pressure as well. This is never getting played. High noon? Alright, so now that we don't have the Bone Brutes, I do think I'll trade for the flanker here. Okay. Doubt they double block the duelist here. A kingdom for a land, right? Now we do have to be kind of careful that we don't die. Because this can hit us for 5. They'd need red to do that though. Probably okay. And since we have 2 things of removal, I might do the Shieldred's Edict here. Esper midrange run Wandering Emperor? It does. Maybe go for the throat is better. Just thinking if they play a Raffine, go for the throat is more specific Raffine removal. So I think I'm going to go here and have them sacrifice a creature. Makes it so they can't block the Bone Brute. Okay. That's a good bounce. Hopefully we hit a land so we can play Shieldred. Obscura Storefront, really? Okay. Oh, it's annoying. I don't want to give him the 1/1s. I think I'm just going to disguise the Bone Brute, try to hit a land so that we can do Doorkeeper Thrall and go for the throat. We could also just remove this, because then they have 1 card, and we just, like, eventually will hit a land and then hopefully have enough to win. But this is something that they need to answer. If I played the Doorkeeper Thrall, I could set up playing the Bone Brute without having to pay the disguise cost. Would have been nice if we hit a land there, because then I could have done that. Do this and remove their one threat. Sarah Paragon. Oh boy, what do you want to play, right? Going for the life gain, okay. Well, we're definitely killing Sarah Paragon. Nice, hit the land. Shieldred's kind of tempting to get down though too, while they don't have a counterspell. But I think I'm going to go for Doorkeeper Thrall, go for the throat. Sarah Paragon hits way too much for that to be okay. Guess I could also go for the throat and flip here. Actually, let's go for that. The Doorkeeper Thrall feels less important right now. Because then they need to answer this or they're dead. Alright, 2 cards remain. see what they got. Got bounce again. Okay. Really tempted to go for the long goodbye because then they can't block. This might win. If they have a counter spell, then yeah. Nice. All right. Two kind of grindy control matchups, though. Deck seems to do okay against that. All right, the opponent's going first, and we've got Bone Brute on 3. We're not doing anything until turn 3. That could be way too slow. And then also, if we don't hit lands, it could be too expensive. We could curve out, right? It could be a 3-4-5. Let's do it for science. I'm just kind of exploring with this deck. I think it's probably a mulligan. And okay, we're up against Boros Convoke again. Let's see if they get a turn 2 Knight Errant of Eos. Okay, so Farewell is going to be very important this match. Looks like they're going to be flashing in the Resolute Reinforcements. So we can see this gives me double white. Probably going to play out Shieldred on 4 rather than flipping the face down. I need some sort of something to stabilize. It's unfortunate to have Shieldred and Acklazotz in play, though. If we're going to Farewell, right? And we are 5 to hitting Farewell. I don't think we're the aggressor in this situation, so I'm just going to trade for the frontliner. And then hope they don't have removal or an answer for Shieldred. Path of Peril. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I still think I'm going to play Shieldred out first. I need life gain. I need stabilization, right? Because each time they play a creature, it's going to ping me for 1. And this is where I hope they aren't running Get Lost. Sometimes Boros Convoke is running spot removal. I like to a little bit when I play Boros Convoke. I've been playing around with Requisition Raid for the mirror. Requisition Raid wouldn't help them here against Shieldred, though. What we really hope the ideal situation would be for them to flood the board. Wait, what? Okay, so they brought out the frontliner, but they didn't attack with it. This is where I need to remember. I can cheat. Case of the Gateway Express is 1 and a white, right? Okay, there we go. And so I think this is representing a case. But they should have attacked first and then done the frontliner if that was the case. So I think I'm just going to go with no blocks. If it's a bluff, then well done. But I need Shieldred to stay alive for the recurring life gain. Okay. Lethal Demolition pops me for 3. Okay. Touche. I go to 8. Man, I'm tempted to do the Acklazotz because the Acklazotz gains us 4. But I think Path of Peril is too good. Because then they have to rebuild. could even attack with the Shieldred. Depends on whether or not they have Imidane's Recruiter. They could play a creature and Imidane's Recruiter, so I think I'm just gonna chill. I think we're going the long haul here. Because if they land drop, Novice Inspector, Imidane's Recruiter, I'm going to be happy I have a blocker. This is another argument for, at least in the Boros Convoke matchup, not running the Farewell. Because, like, here, I don't want to play the Farewell. I guess I could do it to just get rid of the War Leader's Call. Actually, that's not bad. That's not bad. So now that I have this for blocking, I will attack with Shieldred here. Pressure our opponent. I could also go with Liliana and hold up Go for the Throat. See, if they have 3 creatures, I go to 4 life. Okay. Okay, that's 2. I'm at 8. Oh, wait. No, each creature pings me for 2. Right. Acklazotz is going to come in so clutch here. Okay, okay. We're not dead then. We could even keep up the Doorkeeper Thrall. But if they don't have anything, I can go double removal. See, if they flash in the Resolute Reinforcements, though, it wouldn't be great. So I almost feel like it's better to hold these 2 back. Try to get them with an Imidane's Recruiter or something like that. Because we just have to survive a turn. Acklazotz takes them to 6. They draw, they go to 4. Acklazotz wins the following turn. Could remove a threat and still hold up Go for the Throat or Doorkeeper Thrall. Seems somewhat appealing. Still think this is our best option. Guess I could go for lethal here. I could force them to block. Because we have the Go for the Throat. Yeah. Oh, that's right. They also have to discard. And then if they discard a land, I get... Okay. Some sketchy business. And we could do Liliana and go for their last card. Because then I have removal as well on a top deck. Oh, that feels pretty good. Like that should just seal the game.
Enough with the mysteries.
We don't want to play Farewell in this situation anyway. All right. Did you draw the perfects? I don't even think there is a perfects at that point. All right, we picked them apart. Okie dokie, we've got Case of the Stashed Skeleton, double removal, and a Hunted Bone Brute. So turn 2, turn 3 with double removal seems great. Ooh, against mono red. Go for the Throat and the Shieldred's Edict are going to be good against that. I guess if this technically hides that I don't have a cut down if I do white instead of black. They also might play out differently if they know I have black interaction. If I play white, they might think I'm like mono white. Whew, that's a lot of pressure. Okay, so we're definitely not doing the Case here. We're doing Go for the Throat. They're going to have a 2/2 next turn. I think I just hold up the Go for the Throat here. Okay, Ancestral Anger. We want that gone now. Lauren's Escape. Damn it. Okay, so maybe we should have done the Sheoldred's Edict. I didn't actually... Did they just play the Battlefield Forge? I think they hid the fact that they were white. Maybe I missed it, but if I had registered that it could be Boros Heroic, we definitely should have done the Sheoldred's Edict. Liliana kills the 2/2. Sheoldred's Edict kills the 2/2. There's no way for me to kill the 3/4, right? Maybe they attack Liliana instead? Doubt it. Because I bet we're just dead. They have to come up with 1 damage. 1 spell kills us. Bone Brute would give them the 2/1/1s. That isn't great. Especially because this has trample. We would take 4 anyway, so it would still be 1 damage. I guess my only prayer is that they go for Liliana instead of killing me.
And I don't appreciate it.
But that was pretty brutal. The Lauren's Escape there did us in. I mean, when I yeah, okay. So this is the Boros Heroic deck that I just showcased on the Meta Breaker on Monday. And it does better against mono black because of the protection from the point removal. If I had noticed the white, and again, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that one, because if I had noticed they had playing the white, we definitely should have Sheoldred's Edict, so that they didn't wipe cancel our spell out. All right, well, with the power outage and everything, that just hit the 1 hour mark that I do for these little gameplay videos, and so I'll showcase the favorite ones, probably just all of the matches, and just kind of cut out the dead stuff in between. So. Let me know what you thought about the deck, if it sparked any ideas for you about, you know, like cool interactions or ways that you would take it personally. Always love hearing back from you guys. And I do think the Orzhov midrange space is an intriguing one. It seems like it's got some good stuff. And like I said, I think you can tune it for both against control, and this one felt pretty well tuned against the control matchups, and a little bit maybe needing a little bit of help for Boros Convoke in mono red. Again, very small sample size, but when you're running Farewell, you know, like, cut the Farewell. That's what I think I would do, is cut it going forward. But anyway, remember to hit like and subscribe if you like this sort of thing. I try to do daily Magic the Gathering content, and so tomorrow will be another gameplay video, and then on... Let's see, I'm starting to lose my schedule. On Saturday will be the deck that you guys voted for here on YouTube on the poll. And then Sundays, Meta Breakers, and Monday will be my best of 1, best of 3 meta review. So it's the general schedule going forward. Thanks for being a part of my community. Good luck with your matches and crushing it on the ladder, and I will catch you later.